Hey, I'm Ryan Saroff. I started this little series, I guess, just because I wanted to get to know people at my school, their political opinions, and how they differ from others. And there have been very many controversies at our school. However, I'd like to sort of address them, I guess. I'd like to show the people behind those controversies, because not everyone's the same, but there are very many people that are like-minded. And then I really apologize for this awful wind noise. I'm moving locations for the video pretty soon. I might just do it on my dining table because I hate wind noise, and you'll hear fan noise from my computer. And I'm sorry about that. But without further ado, the video is coming up, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at ryan.saroff, Twitter at saroffryan, and Twitch, which I probably won't post on, at Ryan Saroff. I know, very, very original. Alright, good luck with the video. It'll be hard to watch.
Hey, my name is Ryan Saroff. I go to King High School, and I'm a part of the swim team. Oh, and I'm also in Doctors of Tomorrow. And this is...
Valerie, Domingos. I'm also part of the swim team. It's pretty much all I do.
She also goes to King High School.
Yes, at King.
Yeah, and we want to make this little YouTube video / podcast just because, right?
Yes.
Yes. So some topics we're going over today is some politics, some stuff that King High School is doing and is known for, and how they've handled COVID, and online learning, and possibly even some swim team stuff. Yeah. So, what do you want to start with?
Whatever you want to start with.
Great. Okay. So, what do you want to start with? Alright,
This is great. Keep it up.
So, let's talk about how King High School is handling COVID-19 and online learning. What do you think about it? Tell me what you think.
I think in some aspects they're doing decent, and other aspects they should just let us go back to school. I personally would like to go back to school in a safe way. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we should just all go back, no masks, no protection, no nothing. Like, that would be stupid.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Personally, I'd bring Lysol.
I would bring
And a
Lysol
mask.
too.
Well,
Like,
3 masks.
I'd bring a mask for myself. I have like 4 in my car people could use if they wanted. And then I'd bring Lysol. But like, I feel as if them just postponing it is going to make it worse. Like,
Yo, don't bring Lysol. Bring some bleach to inject, bro. You'll be fine that way.
Yeah.
just like,
Thank you, Tyler, for that commentary.
Welcome. Is this a thank you, or is this like shut the hell up?
no, but like, I think we should be able to go back to school. At least have the option. Like, it's just the governor saying we cannot go back to school in any way. But it's like,
Funny you say that. I thought some schools had gone back to school in the state of California.
the private schools have. So private schools are not under the control of the governor. Cannot tell the private schools that they have to be shut down, basically. So private colleges can open, and private schools, so like
Woodcrest.
Woodcrest can open and things like that, which they chose not to open because safety reasons, which it was their choice. But the public schools are fully restricted. Like, we can't do anything because of the governor, in which it's really like, we should at least be able to go back and see if the statistics, like all the numbers rise when we go back to school. Because what we're doing now, the numbers are rising either way. Like, we did open for like a week and numbers rose a little bit, but it's like flu season right now, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's getting sick no matter what, so you can't fully count all of the sicknesses to COVID. So, it's just, we have to go back to see if the numbers actually rise. Otherwise, it's pointless, and we're going to go back, and they're going to be like, oh my goodness, people are getting sick. No, duh, everyone gets sick when you go to school. Like, I get sick all the time because my immune system sucks.
Right.
But I haven't even gotten COVID, and I go out almost every day. So, it's like, nope, stupid.
So with private colleges, I think you've heard with the colleges that have opened up all across the country that many people have been holding parties.
Oh, yes.
And because of that, the cases have been rising a lot in those areas.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I like parties and all, but there's an extent. Like, yeah, it's college and all, have fun, have your parties. Just be be a little more careful. And, like, the way people are doing it, they're just acting like it's not there, which it's there. I admit that it's there. I don't like to admit that it's there because people argue me on that. They're like, oh, you don't think it's there because you think we should open schools and stuff. But, like, I know it's there. Like, yeah, COVID's there. I might not think it's extreme as people are making it show, but people still need to not party as much. Like, you can have a little party. Like, I've had little parties. Like, I have friends over and I go places and stuff. For Halloween, I'm going places. Like, but to the extent college kids are doing it, it's like everyone's going. It's a frat party, so of course everyone's going.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. And the school shouldn't allow it. The school should not allow it in any way.
Yeah, it should be regulatory in those terms.
Yeah, and they all want to go back to college, of course. Like, they want to be in class, they want to be in physical college, they want to be in their dorms and stuff, so they should be smarter. Otherwise, their school's going to close down. Like, they're going to be like, nope, sorry, you're not being smart, you're going to close down.
Yeah. And in terms of how King High would open up, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of people that do hang out very closely. Like,
Yes.
say, in sports, football is a very contact sport, if I'm correct.
Yes.
And I doubt that many of the players would be wearing masks while they're playing. So it would kind of be hurtful on their
ability to play.
Yeah, their ability to breathe.
Yeah.
While they're playing, because they're huffing and puffing.
But the impact is relatively minor.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, well, as we see, like, even pro football's going on still. Like, the coaches and everyone that's not playing is wearing masks. Like, my parents are literally home watching the game right now.
Great,
But,
yeah.
like, the players don't have to wear their masks. They do have the whole
Face shield. Yeah.
helmet and everything inside there, which is giving them a little more distance from each other. But still, it's like...
Well, yeah, but I would argue that the reason why they're doing that is because they do constant tests every day on every member of the staff. We can't really do that as a high school.
We could do that, though.
No, we can't.
For our teams like that, we could.
Not for high school, no.
Though our football team is larger, we could do at least temperature checks.
Well, yeah, but temperature checks don't really tell you everything. That's why they actually
At least
do.
tell you a little bit if you have a possibility of being sick.
Yes, but at that point, you'd probably know you have a fever.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to be fair, if we did want to have like an overall check with people, like we could at some point like ask everybody to take a bite of this apple or something, right? And then like if they answer correctly on like certain surveys.
Hold up, take a bite of an apple. Expound on that.
Okay, expand on that. So.
Sorry,
yes,
expand. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that one of the symptoms of COVID is that if you don't have any like taste.
Oh, no taste, no smell.
Yeah. No taste, no smell.
Wait, so you mean when you're sick?
No. Like,
Yes, when you have...
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Obviously. But like at that point, because it's been said that there's like asymptomatic cases, they probably can still taste.
Right.
At least I think so. I don't know much about
Well,
COVID
that's
myself.
what asymptomatic means. They have no symptoms.
Exactly.
Or they would-
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I know what asymptomatic means. That's my point, though.
Yeah. From what I remember, it's just a higher likelihood if you can't taste or smell. Then,
And there are ways to tell that. Like, none of us, people that go back to school, though we want to go back to school, it's not like everyone's like, oh, I want you to get COVID. I'm willing to risk it to get COVID. It's like, we want to go back to
you'd
school.
be surprised.
Like, okay, yeah, there's people that are like, okay, we'll risk it. Like, I don't care if you get COVID. I don't care if I get COVID. But it's not like, there are a lot of people, like, I care about it. It's like, I can't get sick. I'm high risk. Like, I can't get sick. My mom just got out of the hospital.
Yeah.
We can't get sick. Like, it's
Both
a
my
risk
parents
to
have
all of
issues,
us.
yeah.
So, it's not like I want to risk it, but I know I learn better in a school environment. I
Yeah.
can't do the online. My grades are struggling more than they normally are because I'm online. And though they got this new paper program where you can do online tutoring, it's not helping me because it's all still virtual. And it's not like you can be on call with teachers separately until there's office hours in which there's at least 10 other kids. So it's really hard for a lot of people, especially with learning disabilities and things like that, to be able to learn. But if we do go back safely as the school has planned with the desk shields that go fully around the front, we all have to wear masks. We have the 6 feet, this social distancing at all times. Teachers, we all have to face forward. We cannot be in our little bubble of groups at school. Like, it is a safe way to go back, and I feel it would be efficient. Like, a lot of students, you can see their scores rise. Like, I know a lot of people just want to go back for the social events, but we wouldn't bring social events back at first anyways. Like, it would take a while, but it's a step.
I could even argue that social events won't even happen this year.
Yeah, they probably won't.
Yeah.
Like, even as a senior, like, yeah, that sucks, but I'd at least rather be in school where I can learn. Like,
I'd rather have a better GPA.
Yes, I'd rather have a better GPA than have my social events and risk getting sick. Like, even though my GPA, frankly, it doesn't matter. I have to pass 2 classes to graduate, and I'm good for however long I need to be good. Like, I'm not going to college, so it doesn't matter for me. But it still does matter.
Yeah.
I don't want to fail all my classes. Like, that would suck, and that'd be really depressing.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just noticed that right there. My God. No, look at the lamppost.
Oh, yes, we know. I noticed that.
Yeah, that's terrible, bro. Whatever.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna edit this out.
No,
By we, I mean you.
I'm not. I'm definitely not.
You're not editing that out.
Yeah.
You know what, how about if I pan to it, then you have to edit it out.
No.
No, why would you?
I'm not gonna pan to it. I'm not, but
Alright, so
Whatever.
all I'm saying is personally, online learning has been a bit better for me. Only in the beginning. It was only in the beginning. I had a 4.8 GPA in the beginning. Yeah. But now it's gone down to like a 4.5, so I'm a bit not happy about that. But hopefully it'll get back up. Honestly, like in online classes, it's harder for me to focus.
Yes, I agree.
Because there's so many things going on. Like you're seeing everybody, not just the teacher. Like if you have the grid view, and
Oh yeah.
and sure you can go into settings and then change that, but it never change. Like it doesn't stay that way. So at some point, I just got lazy.
Yeah,
Let
and
it
you're
become
also
grid
like
view.
at home too. So it's like you have all the temptation of like, oh, I can just turn off my camera, mute myself, and leave. Like, I know personally, I know it's terrible, but I've done
Like
it.
I have to eat.
I know. I get like I'll be eating my cereal during class, and I'll be like, oh,
And
I'm
so
supposed
many
to take
teachers
notes.
are like, no, you're not allowed to eat during class. I mean, when we were in school, there was no like, not that many teachers cared about it.
No.
Except for one teacher. I won't name her name. Her name.
oh, I think I know who it is.
I talked to you about her last year.
Is it the F teacher?
No,
Oh, which one?
math teacher.
The math? Wait. Oh, yeah. Her.
Yeah. I apologize for that, but it needed to be said. So yeah, there's so many things going on. Like my little brother, he's in 4th grade now, and he's in the room right next to me. And honestly, his teacher like won't stop talking sometimes, and it drives me crazy. Because then I have to deal with another distraction, and then I have to help my mom with other things. And there's so many things going on. School just seems like not that much of a priority when so many other things are going on right there, right then, in the moment, you know? What was I saying?
Talking about school.
You're talking about your brother.
Right, my brother. So he has a lot of stuff going on with school, and it's just so hard to concentrate because he's in my room, and he's like, hey, can you help me with this? But I'm in class, like I'm in digital art or something.
Yeah, a class that you need to like actually learn it. Yeah, I think school honestly gives people like an escape from home. Like I personally know a lot of people that they cannot do school at home. Like the school gives us hotspots and things like that, and they give us computers and stuff. But that doesn't mean that we don't have other things going on at home.
Yeah.
Like you can tell people need to get away from their parents. Like things happen at home that you're like, okay, I can't talk about it, but like I need to be at school. I can't learn at home when this is happening. Your parents could be fighting constantly, and you're like, oh crap, I have to go to math right now, and my parents are screaming at each other downstairs. Like people need to be able to go to school to be able to get away from that, and that's like, especially with the option that you could go online or in person. Like you have the choice if you're comfortable, and if your parents are comfortable with that. It's fully up to you. Like, the school should give you that option because it's needed for some people.
Yeah.
And, like, they have the whole free lunch program or the lunch program and stuff where you can go pick up your lunch. But a lot of the people that need that lunch program can't go pick it up. Like, personally, I know at least 10 different people that need that, but they can't go get it. Or they need to be at school because things happen at home with their parents. Like, and it's just really hard for them. And I'm sitting at home like, yeah, I've got my sister in the next room. I've got my mom in her bed, not able to move. Like, I have to take care of everything at home, but I need to do school, and I just got a new job. Like, it's a lot, and school just kind of gives you that place where you can learn and focus on your education. Otherwise, it's like, oh, so my home and school life are now the same thing. Great.
Yeah.
It's hard, and we should be given the opportunity to do what we feel is best for us. Like, the governor is trying to keep us safe or whatever, based on statistics of the whole county, which Riverside is a huge county. Like, you can't base our small school district area, like our location, based off of the whole county, because that's including everyone in Riverside County.
So to interject on that,
Yes.
I would argue it totally makes sense because COVID is extremely infectious. So if one county has it, it's very likely.
Extremely infectious. I went to school last year.
Exactly. Yeah,
Almost
but
got sick.
yeah, but when there's a flu outbreak, they do it based on county too. I'm sure.
They do.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
they
the
have
flu
to
is
shut
extremely
down.
infectious. So if even a small group in the county gets it, the rest of the county has to shut down because otherwise that small group could spread it to the rest of the county.
But they
So it totally
never
makes
shut down
sense.
because of the flu.
They've never shut down because of the flu because
There's a vaccine for it.
The
Yeah.
vaccine never guarantees to work.
Well, so
It doesn't
that's actually
guarantee to work.
okay. So I actually know a bit about this.
ahead.
They have this whole thing. I think it's the WHO, World Health Organization.
Yes.
Large groups of them come together once every year for a couple weeks, and they use statistics and stuff to determine what's the most likely flu, what type of strain of flu is
Yes.
most likely to have an outbreak, and then they give that out as vaccines. Now it only I think the percentages was like it was either 33% or 50% likely to be the same flu and to protect you,
Yes.
but there's still that 66% or 50%, can't remember what, but there's still that amount that you could potentially get it, right?
Yeah.
But it still protects you some. And the flu is also I've heard from a friend of mine. I haven't looked it up myself, but I've heard that the coronavirus does have like permanent effects on your lungs.
They do.
Yeah, like they actually do have permanent effects. It's not just you get it, you're fine. It's like super pneumonia, is what I've heard.
Yes, I know that. I know the statistics and the information on the coronavirus. I have my own points of view on it.
Yeah.
Obviously, as I think that we're handling it wrong in a sense, and especially us, we're less risk, like our age group. But yeah, we have people in here that are at risk. Like I have immune problems. I have heart
Yeah.
problems. I have lung problems. Like I am at very high risk. I have not gotten coronavirus, yet I go out every day.
Have you gotten tested?
I have gotten tested.
How many times?
Like once or twice. Because I'm about to start a job, so
Right.
I have to do all this
Okay.
stuff.
So
Like,
you've gotten it done recently.
yes, I have tested negative every single time. I was exposed to somebody that got coronavirus about 3 weeks ago, and I did not show any symptoms. I was not sick. I did quarantine myself for 2 weeks in order to be safe.
Okay,
and
good,
safe
good.
to people around me.
Right.
But I did test negative every time I've tested. I had to get tested when my mom went into surgery. Like, she can't have people at home that are sick. Like, we all had to get tested. We all tested negative. Like, none of us have gotten it, though my dad works a job in which he's in contact with people every day. He's in contact with their personal items every day. My sister, yeah, she stays inside. She doesn't do anything. Not even gonna lie. She doesn't even go outside. I go outside all the time. I'm not a religious person, but I go to church and I'm around people 24/7. So, like, I still haven't gotten it, and I'm high risk, but I'm careful.
But do you
There's
think it
certain-
would be irresponsible of you to go to these gatherings knowing you're high risk? Are you not worried?
No, I'm not worried. I know I'm being safe. I wear my mask. I keep my distance from people that I know have been around more people. I am safe about it. That's what we need to do. We don't need to isolate ourselves. It's terrible for our mental health. It's terrible for us in general. Like, if you look at the statistics of everything that's happening, like,
So the economy.
it's bad for the economy. Like, our economy sucks right now.
Okay, but would you argue we should do a full reopen?
No, we should slowly integrate back in.
Okay, good.
Like,
Yeah.
not just open. Like, hell no. I'm not going to say open the schools fully, just everyone go back. Like, the group A, B is good. The slowly opening, the phases are good, other than the fact that it's such a high, like, you mess up one, you go one case over, everything's shut down. Like, that, I think, is stupid. I think we should slowly, it's been, 6 months almost now of this quarantine, in which the cases are rising and falling and rising and falling, rising and falling.
Right, because of the spikes.
Yes. So, like, that's not going to change until they find a vaccine, but we can't shut down everything forever. Like, who knows when they're going to come up with a vaccine? Like, we don't know when they're going to come up with a cure or anything. It could be another year. And I think it's dumb to keep us closed for that long. Like, America is going to go into a hole of, like,
A recession.
depression again.
A recession, yeah.
Yes.
A recession, yeah.
In which we're going to have a hard time coming back from that. And our school system is going to be crap. Like, we're all going to be online based for a long time, unless you're a private school, of course, which private schools can go back and certain states are going back, but California isn't. Like, in any way, our school system is shut down, unless you're public or private school, not public. And then all our businesses, like small businesses, yeah, they give them money to help function and stay alive, but when they get shut down because the governor, it's not part of the place to stay open, then they're dying. Like, it's only the mainstream businesses. Like, my job is open. I'm gonna work at McDonald's. We will be staying open. We're food. Grocery stores.
The free smoothie.
Okay, you can pull up one day at my lunch break, and I'll be like, okay, here you go, Ryan. Like, food places are staying open, and essential places, like anywhere that sells food items, is staying open. Everywhere else, if we go back to how we were originally, is gonna close. But we need some of those places to be open. Like, it's not like you can keep all that closed. Otherwise, we're just gonna be like, shoo, the only places surviving are food places, and no one's gonna have a job. We're gonna get into worse unemployment than we already are. Like, unemployment is terrible right now, but you get paid a lot to be on unemployment. Like, my mom's on unemployment, and she's getting paid more right now than she was when she was working, which is kind of dumb because it's making people not want to go back to work in any way. Like, no, you need to keep it a little lower so that they have that motive once they can get a job. They want to go back to work to make more money.
But then, say we're a little lower, and
Yes.
rent is exactly the same as how much you're getting from unemployment.
Yes.
Right. So would that mean that you're okay with people being homeless?
Well, that again goes back to the point that places need to open so that people can get those jobs.
Right.
Because with the places all closed, yeah, unemployment needs to be a little higher so people can live. I understand that in this point in time because they're not opening jobs, but they need to open jobs so that we can lower that. It's order to people to live. Like, otherwise it's pointless.
Right. But if they do open these places, would you suggest that they open exactly how you want them to open schools? Say that they do that, right?
Wait. A better question would be, if they were to reopen, would you want them to reopen like other states have, or do you think they've done it wrong?
Yeah.
I haven't looked into too many other states. I know a few more of the upper states where I have family living, and they're open more. Like, I just went to Colorado in the middle of all this stuff, and places were careful about how they were opening. It was drive-through. There was a lot more outdoor seating, but they were still open. And Colorado cases are fairly low in certain places. Like, where I was, the cases are very low. I was in Colorado Springs, and when I went, the cases were low, but everywhere was open. I didn't go to one place when I was there that was closed. And cases were still low, but they were careful. Now, for California, we have a larger population, so we'd have to be a little more careful to open up. Like, yeah, you'd have to have, everywhere right now has plastic shields in front of cashier registers things. And workers, you have to fill out a survey before you go into work. If you have symptoms, then you go back home, you get tested, do the 2-3 day testing for COVID. If you come back with a negative test, you can go back to work. And it's okay. Like, workplaces are understanding that you cannot be at work at certain times. Like, all the workers are tested. They are safe, and you can trust that people aren't sick. Now, customers, we have to wear masks. Like, it sucks, but we have to wear masks. We have to keep our 6 feet distancing. Like, it's safe. Now, I think we should open all places like that safely. And with I think it's the 10% capacity, 10% or 100 people, whichever is less, that capacity should stay, at least until we know that it's safe for a couple weeks.
Right.
So I think that's...
Maybe like a month or two.
Yeah, like at minimum, it should be 2 weeks that we keep it in that stage. And then at most, I think it should be at most like maybe a month, month and a half, not longer than that, just so that we can start opening more and more people can start getting out there. Because, like, no one's going to be able to start going back. It's going to all disappear one day. We're going to get the vaccine, and it's going to be like, okay, we know this is good. We're done. Everything open back up, full, everything. And it's going to be like, oh my goodness, what I've saved all this extra money. I'm good for a while. I don't need to go back to work. There's going to be so many open jobs that we're not going to be able to function in the first place.
All right, so since we're on the topic of COVID-19, how it was handled in California, what do you think about densely populated beaches and stuff? Because I went to the beach a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, and we were just trying to go into like a tiny area where there weren't too many people.
Yeah.
But on the way there was at least over 100 people. Most of them did not wear masks at all. I think me, my brother, and my mom, we were the only people wearing masks. Maybe there was another 5 people. But, you know, what do you think about that? How do you think that should be handled?
Well, personally, I go to the beach fairly often, so I know kind of what it's like down there. Certain beaches are better about it. Certain beaches, it's less populated. It just really depends on the location. And the time of day is very critical. So we go really early in the morning. We go really, really early in the morning, and it's like nobody's there. And then late at night, there's very few people there. Those are usually the people that are just smoking and drinking on the beach because it's dark and they won't get caught.
Right.
So during the day, I mean, the shops require a mask. Most of them, at least. There's a couple that I know that don't, but now they probably do because rules and restrictions. But most places that you go in that are small and like confined, they require a mask. So I think that's very wise of them. And typically, walking down the pier, a lot of the people on not the pier, the little road thing they have, like
Right.
going to the pier, that's mostly people exercising and stuff. I know that because I work out there. But a lot of the times it's just people exercising, and then there's the houses and stuff where people are just sitting there, which is their house, it's their property, they can do what they please, they do not need to wear a mask. But then the people that are walking, I think it's fine that if you're walking you don't need to wear a mask, personally. Like, as long as you are far enough away from people, like, if I say I'm with other people and like we're less than 6 feet apart, yeah, I'm wearing a mask all the time. When I'm around people that I don't trust and I don't know, but we're still in the same group, I wear my mask. I am safe, and I do think that is the proper way to handle it. But when I go to the beach and I have my little space set up, I do know there are some people that like to invade your space, but they do keep a fair enough distance that it's not like, oh, I'm on top of each other, or say we're less than 6 feet apart. People like to keep somewhat of a distance. 6 feet doesn't seem that much. Like, this is like somewhat close to 6 feet. So, like, this doesn't look like much, especially if you have all your umbrellas and stuff set up, but they are keeping a distance. Like, I know we kept a distance. I know when we used to walk down the beach, we would keep a distance. And in the water, less people keep distance, but they still do. And a lot of the time people are just swimming or doing random things in the water. I don't even know what normal people do in the water. I swim.
Usually just play safe.
I swim to the pier and back. I'm a swimmer. That's what I do for fun. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think it's fine as long as you're not just like invading other people's space. Like, I think it's fine if you are sitting there and you're peacefully in your own area, you're in your bubble, you are a safe distance from people, that you don't wear your mask. Like, personally, that's what I do, and I'm okay with it. I'll lay on my towel. I don't want to wear my mask. I don't want to get a mask tan. I will either burn and get a mask burn or something, and it will look absolutely terrible. So, like, I want to lay on my towel without having to worry about wearing my mask.
Right. But Valerie, the question was, what about in densely populated areas
I think it's
where you're walking? Like, it's densely populated. Like, there isn't any room for like a whole 6 feet.
well, then yeah, they should.
Do you think it should be regulated? Do you think it should be mandatory?
I don't think it should be mandatory because
Like, along the lines of what times
I
are
think
most
there should
densely populated?
They would be around like 10 to 3-ish.
Right. So
10 to
that's
3 is average time where it's like mostly populated, which it should be regulated. Like, people should just be smarter about it, frankly. But
right.
we can't trust everyone to do that. But it also shouldn't be mandatory because outside you are not mandated to wear a mask. It is inside buildings and inside certain places that you are mandated, in which I think is fully fair. Like,
Okay.
fully fair. Inside, if I'm going inside a restaurant down at the beach or down in a very populated place, like say I'm in New York, and there's a ton of people around me, like, and we're all going in the same building, yeah, we should be mandated to wear a mask. in hotel hallways, we should be mandated to wear a mask. In any sort of place in the mall hallways, we should be mandated to wear a mask. But outside, we shouldn't.
Okay.
Like, outside, it's going to help. Like, you need to, they say outside has its benefits and helps and things like that. Like, there's the sun, all that. I don't know. I'm not a sciencey person.
But does the mask, outside, does it ruin that experience?
Outside, it's not like you're getting everything from outside. Like, when I'm outside, my asthma sucks when I'm inside. I'm dying when I'm inside. I have 3 inhalers I have to use every morning. And I'm staying inside a lot of the times to do school. So half my day is taken up by school anyway, so I'm inside. But when I'm outside and I don't use those inhalers, like when I work out, I don't use my inhalers until I have to. But I'm outside working out most of the time. I run around this park and I do my workouts outside, in which I don't wear a mask. But I feel better when I'm outside. And I know that's common for a lot of people, especially with immune problems and lung problems. Some people, it's like allergies cause those problems. So I get.
How do you think that Trump handled COVID-19?
I feel like he's doing the best that he can. Like, because if you did watch the presidential debate, I don't know who all watched it. I know I watched it, though I can't legally vote this year, which really sucks for me. But
By the way, viewers, if you didn't watch it, don't worry, you didn't miss much.
You just watched two.
You just watched 2 grown men arguing over each other.
Yeah.
well, he did bring up a good point. One thing I did appreciate that he said was when I think it was the lady that was asking the question, she did ask something about, I don't even remember what it was, the question she asked, but he said that he didn't have the full power in the House. Though he is the president, he is not able to do everything he wants to do. And I believe personally that if he could, he would make it to where every school had to be opened. I personally think that he would make it to where we would slowly integrate into opening back up schools, as he's made that kind of one of his points. Like, he wants schools to open. But
does he want schools to open, or does he want them to integrate to open?
I think he wants them to integrate to open. He wants it to open safely. He wants the country to open safely, in which
With
we're smart.
over 200 million deaths due to COVID.
Wait, well, hold on. 200 million? I think you mean 200,000. 200,000.
I think it was 2 million cases, though, right?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
There's a
It's
large
1 to 2
amount of
million.
cases in
Yeah.
which, like, there's a lot of cases of everything, but you have to look at the deaths and the rates
It's
of everything.
20%, at least 20 to 25%.
Yeah.
If it's
Well, so the thing though is the thing about COVID is that it's known to kill off those who are already at risk, like
Yeah.
autoimmune disorder, heart problems, that sort of thing. It's been known to like really kill those people off. It's less known to kill off kids, but it has happened. Although generally, I've heard that generally those kids have autoimmune disorders.
Right.
Yes, because the younger people have a better chance of fighting things. It's just a known common fact.
Yeah.
All medicine, kids, children, younger people have better ability to fight things off. Older people, of course, we did not expect them to survive too much. It's the same with like how the flu would kill off an old person. Basically the same.
Well, except the flu has a vaccine for it.
Yes, we're not counting that. It's just based off of the general
Okay.
topics of who's at risk. Like, if I get the flu, yeah, it's gonna suck for a while. Like, but I'm not gonna die from the flu.
Right.
Depends.
As long as I take care of myself from it,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna die from the flu.
Yeah.
Wow.
But an older person is at higher risk of dying. It's the same with COVID. If I get COVID, it's very likely that I might die or I might have severe health problems after I get better. But, an older person is not going to survive as easily as I'm going to survive. But back to politics, back to Trump.
Back to Trump.
I think he's handling it to the best of his extent and his ability. Like, he cannot control everything, and he is trying to get reelected. So he's not going to get rid of all the states and all the people in the states that are more democratic by saying, I am forcing your schools to open. I believe that once he does win the election, if he wins the election, then he will mandate it. I think he will tell the country to start opening back up slowly in a safe way.
Right. But, however, you said that Trump doesn't have control, right? He doesn't have most of the control
Full
that he
control,
wants.
yes.
Full control. However, his party does.
Yes.
So, and if Trump is the leader of the Republican Party,
Yes.
they must have at least a similar agenda to what Trump has. If I'm
Yes.
correct. So why do you think that?
So I actually know a little about this. The House of Representatives is Democrat led right now, but the Senate is Republican led,
Yeah.
and so is the president, Republican.
And the I think judiciary wise.
Judiciary, yes. If he gets Coney Barrett to get into power, then yes, he'll also have Supreme Court.
I thought she was. already.
Amy Coney Barrett, was she put in yet?
I think so.
I believe she was.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
if
think
she was, yeah, then that means that now they have a conservative lead in the Supreme Court,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
which I have something to say about that.
Yeah.
But I'm not being interviewed.
Yeah, I mean, though, yes, I'm a Republican, but I do not believe that everything that is said and should happen is the same with the Republican view. Like, I've heard a lot of people say to me personally, they're like, oh, Republicans want everyone to just not wear masks. They want everyone to go fully back in, no regards to anything. And they're like, oh, the Democrats just want us all to be safe and wear masks constantly and stay inside for this long. But, like, I don't think that's true.
I don't think
that's,
either.
I don't
He's-
think, I
It's
don't
a person's
know.
personal opinion.
Yes.
Right.
But I know, though you can be Republican, you do not agree with everything. Like, I don't agree with everything Trump says, of course, but I do agree with most of what he says, and I agree with what most of the Republicans stand for. Though I don't agree with all of it, I can agree with some of it and think that that's the best way. And it's the same for the way Trump has to consult other people to let things go through. Those people may be on the same side as him and have majority of the same views, but they may also think that he should be handling things in a different way, and that different things should be handled in a different way that's safer. So I think it's mainly that the election is this year and that he's trying to get reelected, that he's not trying to push too hard to open everything back up right now, because that would lose a lot of votes. Because that is just a force, and those people that are still debating whether they want to go Democratic or Republican, it's going to push them over to whichever side. And he wants it to be more like, okay, I'm understanding this is a crisis, and we need to take it this way, instead of, I'm forcing you to do this. Because that's just going to end badly for him. And he just, that would give him no hope. Everyone's going to go to the Democratic side, and it's just not going to end well. But yeah, I think he's done good with the COVID thing to his extent.
Yeah. In accordance to that, in the beginning, do you feel as though with getting those COVID tests, he was really late to his response? Like, he wasn't able to get those tests in time. Many people have spread COVID very quickly because of the lack of testing available. If they knew, they felt like stay inside.
To interrupt here, I'd argue it's still really difficult to get tests. The only way to get a test is to say you've been in contact with someone who had COVID.
Yes,
Right.
That's the only way.
In a medical emergency, since our
Yeah.
family had to get tests because of my mom's surgery, we all
Yeah.
had to get tested for her safety. So there's only certain ways you can get tests, which, yes, makes sense. I personally think that he was a little late to it. Like, he could have been a little bit more open about it, but at the same time, I do agree that if he came out and said, oh, this is a very deadly disease and we are all at risk of dying and this could kill us and this could get absolutely terrible, it would have sent everyone to absolutely hell. Like,
Yes,
it
but
would have.
But didn't that panic already happen?
Yeah, it already happened.
That panic
It
happened
in
when
Wuhan.
the whole.
Well, no, it happened here with the whole toilet paper thing.
Well, yes, that too. But
Which doesn't make sense. Why would people go for toilet paper?
I don't.
Yeah, I hated that.
No, but okay, yeah, he was late. But the main panic started when we went into the quarantine. Because it was at first it was a 2 weeks quarantine, including spring break. for schools at least. So it would have been a 3-week quarantine.
And so many people were happy about that. Like,
Yes, everyone at first was happy about that. Like, I know people that were running around the school, like, they were like, hallelujah, thank the Lord.
I'm
like,
pretty sure I was one of the only people that was like so pissed off about
I
it.
was too. I was
Because
like,
I wanted to stay in and get my, like, I just wanted to do so much better in school because I was actually improving so much.
yeah.
But
Same.
but then, like, the quarantine happened. And now, I'm like, I feel like we should probably stay at home more until we figure things out. Until we have a rigid and correct plan. But a lot of people are now the opposite. They want to go straight into school. And most of them, like, I know a lot of people, they do not want to wear a mask inside.
Oh, I
No
know a
one
lot of people that
wants-
doesn't want to wear a mask inside.
Yeah,
like,
they-
people are like, no, I'm
They
inside.
want to be touchy-touchy with other people.
Yes.
And that they haven't seen in, like, 6 months.
I know a lot of people like
Yeah.
that. And yeah, it's just the late response. I do believe he's waited to see and show our statistics because it started in China. We know
Right.
that. It started in China, and that's where it happened. But there was no guarantee that it was going to come to the United States. In which the point that it did come to the United States, we were informed that it came to the United States. We were not fully informed on the fact of how large, how terrible it was in China, that was a possibility for us. Which
Correct.
I think that was a little bit of a mistake, but at the same time, like, if those people that did bring it over, that it was brought over by a certain group of people, those people were safer, like it was safer contaminated or held in with that, I feel like we could have
Contained. Yeah.
contained, yes, thank you. We could have contained it better with them. Like, we should have been better at containing them and quarantining
Right.
them so that it didn't spread, because if we did that, then it wouldn't have spread.
Right.
Like, there would have been a slight chance that it would have still spread, but we could have handled that better, in which it wouldn't have been a problem for Trump not to say as much. Like, if we contained those people and helped them and got them better and dealt with the problem, then it wouldn't be this problem that we're having now.
Right.
Like, it would have been safe. It would have been just like another thing, like kind of how there was the whole Ebola thing,
Right.
but we handled that. We took
We
care
handled
of
that
that,
very well.
and we did that very well.
Yeah, there were only 2 deaths,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yes.
It was either 2 deaths or 2 cases.
I think there's 2 cases. One of them got sent back to Africa.
Yes, so if we handled the coronavirus like we did handle Ebola, this wouldn't be a problem now. We would not all be in quarantine.
We would not all have to wear masks.
I would not be having to stay 6 feet away from you wearing my mask.
Right.
I would be able to be closer and be having this conversation.
Right.
Like,
I could be sitting across from you in Jacob's dining table, and we could be snacking on some apples or something.
yeah,
Right.
like,
Yo, real quick, get ready to wrap it up, because it's been over 40 minutes, I think.
Great. I'm still gonna keep talking.
Oh, okay.
but
That was just 45.
we should have. After it started spreading, yeah, he should have said a little bit more. I do fault him. Like, okay, there is an extent at which you hide a certain thing. It's like hiding from your child that you're getting divorced. Say, I'm getting divorced with my husband, hypothetical husband. We're getting divorced. We're having problems. We don't know for sure.
Who says you don't have a wife?
My wife or husband, depending. My hypothetical wife or husband. Then I would hide that until a certain extent, because you're trying to fix the problem before it's 100% guaranteed. And I think that was his idea. It just got a little bit too unhandled to where he once
It was
by
a
the
lot.
time
It was really out of control.
yes, by the time he told everyone it was way too far out of being able to control, that everyone was sent into a panic either way.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to induce that panic if there was nothing to panic about.
Yeah.
So
However, personally, I'd like to be on the safer side of things.
yes, yeah,
I like
get
to be
that.
in control. I'm one of those people that, like, if I'm not in control of a certain situation, you know?
Yes,
like,
I get that.
It's scary. Yeah. But, I mean, personally, I don't love the way Trump handled it.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even like it. Yeah, so I just wish he would have said something at least 2 weeks, you know?
Yes.
Like, if he said something in 2 weeks' time, that would be fine, because that would
Yeah.
induce a panic. We knew what was happening in Wuhan in 2 weeks'
Yes.
time, and it would have been much better to continue.
Well, some people might make the argument that we couldn't have known because China was very secretive and lying. They were lying a lot.
There
Right.
is an extent that China is.
And plus,
part of it,
so
too,
true,
so I would argue China is like actually a huge part of it. I'd also,
yeah.
I'm not talking about this, but I'd argue Trump mishandled it. But to that point of China. China lied about it for I think it was months.
Oh yeah, China.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but they also were they quarantined themselves. Like they did heavy quarantines in Wuhan, but they didn't really quarantine people leaving.
Yes, actually about that, I have a friend on the Riverside Aquatics Association swim team that I'm a part of, right? Well, he's not on there anymore. He graduated high school 2 years ago or something. But he went to go study in Shanghai.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he was there, and then his school told him that he had to leave and go back to America.
Yes, they
Which
were
was-
making pretty much everyone from other
Countries
go
leave,
back,
yeah.
which I think was a problem. Like if you're
Yeah.
breaking out in a pandemic in your country, keep the people that are in your country, no matter where they're from, in your country. Like, because otherwise, that's literally sending the pandemic to every other country, which I think is what happened. They were like, okay, go back, but you're already like put out to this disease. Like
Yeah.
this disease, you could be carrying it without knowing.
Oh, they got tested and everything, but however, I get where
Yes.
you're coming from.
Yeah, like the other people that did come back to the Americas and they had the coronavirus, they were sent back. It's not like
Right.
they
Yeah.
just could have been. China was kind of like, oh yay, let's send everyone back. No
Yeah.
offense to China, I love everyone, but
I love exporters, importers.
I love all people.
Yeah.
But I do fault them for a lot of it.
So, what do you think about Trump calling the coronavirus or COVID-19 the China virus? A great play on words, am I correct?
Okay, it is kind of a China virus.
Oh.
Though, okay, but there's a patent for the coronavirus. Like you have to patent things when you
Correct.
make them, when you're the originator.
Correct.
Which there's a patent for the coronavirus, which is from a while ago. I don't know the year. I don't know who patented it exactly. I know there is one because
I don't think
remember that.
I don't think they patented the coronavirus. They must have like patented like something to treat it, like a
No,
different
they-
type.
They patent the coronavirus.
They can.
They patent.
They can. What's it called? They can.
If
It's basically like if you're able to decide the name based on certain.
They named the virus.
Yeah,
Okay.
They named it.
I didn't even know that was a thing. All right.
Yeah,
Go
so the
ahead.
coronavirus was obviously a thing. We know the coronavirus is obviously
with
a
the
thing
SARS
before it
virus,
broke out.
yeah,
Yes,
something like that.
which it was patented, which they could have been coming. I think it's kind of like they could have been coming up with a cure vaccine for the virus since they knew the virus existed. Which I'm not 100% sure how the
They had
virus got
to-
out. Like I'm not 100% sure on that. I've heard a few different stories from a few different people.
It's either pangolins or bats.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm kind of neutral. Like, I don't know how it got out, but they could have, they knew this existed. They knew it
They could have
existed.
created a cure, which they couldn't exactly make a cure for it just because it wasn't urgent. And if it's not urgent, then they can't devote their money on research for things that aren't needed.
Yes, but though it's not
Wait.
needed-
So I can sort of lend a little bit to this. I know a little bit about this.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know, but most.
Got a camera for you. Gotta get a camera for you.
gotta get like a tripod.
Shut the hell up.
Right there,
For you.
so you
Yeah.
can-
Okay. You're being an asshole just because. I mean, you're being.
Come on!
Shut up. Okay. You're being mean just because I'm like interjecting. Look, man. A cameraman can interject. That's how it works. Totally. That's how it works. That's how it works when I'm here. Okay. Now look. So the thing about any sort of thing that's treatable is that generally it takes years for it to actually
Get past.
to get a vaccine for it. And there's a lot of reasons why. One of the first reasons is funding. A huge reason why they can't do it like immediately is because of funding. Second reason is there's a lot of testing that has to be done. There has to be, not only does it have to be like animal trials, there has to be human trials. And there's also the risk of people in the human trials, you know, they have to do like placebo tests. They have to do like control group tests. They have to do a lot of different tests. And they also have to test to make sure that what they give you doesn't like ruin your chances or make it worse for you. And so on and so forth. There's a lot of stuff that goes into making any vaccine. It's why most vaccines take way more than a couple years.
Yeah.
In fact, people would argue that the vaccine right now is getting fast-tracked, and that if they fast-track it too fast, there could be a risk of the vaccine either not being effective or making it worse.
Really bad side effects.
Yeah, bad side effects, that sort of thing. And so there's also people who are like, I wouldn't trust the vaccine because it doesn't have that level of testing, that normal, like the flu, for example, has a lot of vaccines, a lot of tests, a lot of work that's done on it.
And it's been out for so many years.
Yeah. So some people would argue that, you know, the one that's coming out now, if it were to come out soon, it would be coming out too soon and they wouldn't take it. So there's a risk about that.
And there's also another thing. What's it called? The flu shot. It used to be like really expensive back in the day when it first came out.
Yes.
And now it's like what, $10 or free?
And there's some, yeah.
And so since COVID, shoot, what's it called? The vaccine for COVID, when it comes out, it's gonna be like really expensive. So honestly, it would be difficult for like everybody to want to, you know.
Yeah,
get the
there's
vaccine.
going to be a lot of people that are like, I don't want it. Like, personally, if the vaccine comes out, I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not getting it unless the military requires me to. I will not be getting the
Well,
vaccine
to be honest, you
for
probably
a
get it
while.
for free.
Yes, though I would get it for free, I probably still wouldn't get it unless
Because of
it's
the
required.
lack of trial.
Because of the lack of testing. But I don't get the flu shot. I have never gotten the flu shot in my life.
Are you
And
anti-vax?
the only thing I don't get is flu shot. I have all my other shots.
Thank God.
I get everything else. I have all my...
Oh, why don't you get the flu shot?
Why not?
That should be the question.
Well,
Yeah.
my parents never made me. My parents...
Oh, pause. God damn it.
Really?
Look at this jerk. How dare he? Dude, I'm still recording. Jesus.
So, why don't you get the vaccine?
Well, my parents never made me get the vaccine.
Sit back down. You're supposed to be in shot, bro. Can't get you in shot like this. Yeah, it looks way better. Thanks, sweetie. Thanks.
Alright, go ahead.
Okay, well, my parents never made me get the vaccine, first off. They made me get all my other shots. I have any extra shots that I could get, I got, except the flu shot. So, I've got, well, who knows what shots I have. I just got a lot of them. But,
Didn't you say you also get the flu a lot?
no, I've never gotten the flu, actually.
I thought you said you got sick frequently.
I
Oh,
get
like
sick
different. Okay.
frequently, but I've never gotten the flu. I was a very sick child. I got bronchitis and stuff like that, but I've never gotten the flu. Yet I've never had the flu shots, which is kind of funny and like, oh, okay. But my parents never really forced it on me. My mom was never forced to get the flu shot as a kid. She was a very sheltered child. My dad's parents really didn't care, so they were like, I don't want to pay for the flu shot, and therefore you're not getting the flu shot. And my parents never, though I was in hospitals a lot, and though I got sick a lot, they never felt the need to get the flu shot, just because I was a fairly safe child when I got sick, and when I did get sick, I did take care of myself. I did stay home when I got sick to protect other people. So they never felt the need, and throughout my years, maybe if I had gotten the flu as a child, they would have made me get it, but I never did. And then now at this point, they're like, okay, you're old enough. Once I hit high school, they were like, if you want the flu shot, we'll take you to get your flu shot. If you don't have to get it. And which I personally chose. I was like, I've never gotten the flu before. When I get the flu, then maybe I'll consider getting the flu shot. But I've never gotten the flu.
So to interrupt real quick,
Yes,
once
sir.
you get the flu, you can't get the vaccine. That's not how that works. The vaccine is supposed to prevent it.
No, yes, after years coming. when
After
they
your
come out.
cycle
Oh, okay.
for the flu.
Yes, once the next vaccine comes out, then I would get it.
Yeah.
Like, well, at least I would consider getting it. Not saying that if I got the flu, I was gonna immediately go and get the vaccine. I know that's not how it works. Not that stupid. Like, just, it's never been really a risk for me, especially considering how at risk I am for getting sick. Like, I've never gotten it, therefore I don't see a need for me to get the vaccine at this point in time. So, I'll consider it if I get sick. If I don't get sick, then hallelujah, I must just have whatever it takes to not get the flu. I don't know how, I don't know what it is, but I got it. So, but it's kind of like coronavirus. If the vaccine came out, I'd be like, nah, I don't want it. First off, you haven't tested it enough. Second off, no, thank you. Like, I don't trust that. I don't trust a lot of that stuff. I take a lot of persuasion to get a vaccine in the first place that is optional. Like, it's not something I would take unless I'm pretty sure I would be required to take it for the military.
Yeah.
It's just, for the military, you have to get a lot of different vaccines and shots for going to different countries and things like that. Coronavirus would probably be just a mandatory one just because
Overall.
everything, like in the military, first off, you're traveling, you're going to different places, you're in contact with people, you're not always required to wear a mask. Like, I'd most likely be required to get it. But if it was optional, I wouldn't get it for at least a year or two. Just so I can see the effects on other people, see if it's safe, and see if I would be willing to get it.
So pause real quick. I need to stop this and start another one.
Yes, sir.
Great. So we know that both in Christian, Catholic, basically whatever, like, very religious household, people that are in the LGBTQ plus community are not very supportive. Like, say in my household, I'd be thrown out because I am Nepali and Indian, and we follow the Hindu culture. And I guess you'd say that that's true for very many other cultures,
Yes.
right?
Yes, along with Christian, it's very unaccepted. I grew up in a religious household, a very religious background. We go to church every Sunday, and Wednesday nights I am required to go to youth group, in which it is taught that being gay and loving someone of the same gender or changing your body and being say if I was like, oh, I want to be trans and I changed into a man, it would not be accepted.
Sorry, I got scoliosis.
Because it is taught though God loves everyone, it's a sin and you'll be sent to hell for loving someone of the same gender as you. Which I think is why, honestly, people that are Republican typically are thought of as not supporting the LGBTQ plus community, because Trump has shown he is religious, well, at least partially religious, if not fully religious, and that he does believe there is God, which is why it's thought that he does not support the gay community, and that since, like, it is taught in religions, that is wrong. It is wrong in a lot of senses, which I think plays the most part of why the two do not go hand in hand, because people are like, oh no, I can't be Republican and be gay. It just doesn't work, because they're like, oh no, all gays are wrong, where the Democrats are like, we love everyone. Which is like kind of a stereotypical thing, because it's not true, because I'm Republican, and I can solidly say at least half my friends are gay, or at least bi, or I have friends that are trans, and like I have a large group of my friends who are in that community, in which I support all of them 100%, and I love all of them, and their sexuality does not affect me in any way. Like, yeah, I might have to be a little more careful, like saying certain things, like I can't tell them I love them all and then think that it's like platonic. They're like gonna be like, oh my goodness, what relationship? And I'm like, no, I love you as my friend.
Yeah.
So, like, it doesn't affect anything though, and Trump hasn't been in any way, in my views, that he has not been against that community. He's actually been fairly supportive of it. Like, I know a lot of presidents just say they're supportive of it because they want to win the election, like, because the LGBTQ community is very wide and it's a very large vote. So a lot of presidents are like, oh, we support this, but they only do it because they want to win the election. But I do believe Trump has not shown in any way, in any of his actions, that he's against those people. And
Well, there is one potential. Sorry to interrupt. There is one potential action. He did the whole no transgenders in the military.
Right.
Okay, yeah, but with the military, it's a little.
Yeah, I know what you mean. In fact, I sort of agree with that point, but
Yes,
make an argument for it.
I do agree. I agree with that. Like, I'm not against transgenders. If I could speak, that'd be nice. I'm not against them in any way. I fully support it. If that is how you feel, go for it. But the military is very pristine and has a very strong reputation, you could say. It has a very,
Holistic aspect.
it has a certain view. Like, when you look at the military, a lot of the people in there, though there might be people that are gay and all that, everything, I do support that you should not be able to go into the military as transgender. First off, when you make that transition, you do a lot of things to your body.
The hormones.
yes, there's a lot of the hormones. You can do certain things to remove or add certain parts to your body, in which kind of, I don't want to say messes you up because that's wrong.
It changes who you are
it changes
in a very
you.
molecular aspect.
Yes, which
Okay.
puts you at risk to where it's not safe for you to fully go into the military. Like, I know personally, I am about to start my enlistment process. I start signing my papers on Wednesday. I have to go through a full, very in-depth 2-day medical procedure process in which they check everything out to make sure that I am fully viable and going to be the best of use to the military, in which transgender people might be healthy in an aspect of their own lives, but they're not going to be able to be used for their full extent because they do have those, they're supposed to be a certain gender, yet they are getting those hormones for a separate gender, which messes with you. Like my grandmother, she got her tubes tied, which she has to take estrogen hormones and all that crap. It messes with her so much. It's terrible, and it's terrible for her health too. Like, I've seen it firsthand. It is terrible. She has to go to doctors so often because it does affect her health, which is not good. You need strong people who are very secure in their health in order to be in our military. Like, I don't want people in the military that are going to be like failing or getting sick or dying, or they have to take all these hormones 24/7 because they chose personally to do that. Like, I get if it was a health problem and you had to have a surgery in which you can't get those hormones in your body. I understand that. Like, I understand why my grandma has to do it and all those things. But if you're personally choosing to do it, you are giving up that ability to go into certain job forces. Like, I understand that and I support it. Like, if I chose to become a man, which I'm not, I like being a female. I would accept that I'm not able to go into the military. Now, I accept I want to go into the military, therefore I will remain how I am. I do not have tattoos. I only have 2 piercings in my ears. I know I can't do anything to my hair or anything to my body without the permission of the United States military.
You know, it's funny. I have 3 rebuttals for this. I'm choosing which one I should do. So, let's go with this one. All right. So, wouldn't you say that people who are trans that want to go into the military, they are becoming a certain gender? And since both genders are allowed, they should be allowed to be in the military. Now, let's not put into the perspective of they just transitioned. They're taking a bunch of medications when they just transitioned. Let's talk about when they're like, say, a year or 2 after transition period.
So to interrupt here, I'm pretty sure they still take it anyway. They have to take it for the rest of their life. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm not completely positive, but I'm pretty sure they do.
They do. They have to
Okay.
take those hormones and everything throughout their whole lives.
Right.
Because, like, I know people that do that. They have to take those for their whole lives, which it's gonna, their body is still, I'm not 100% sure if their body is still producing other hormones. I don't believe so. I believe they get those organs and everything taken out and removed, which is why there's so many surgeries and everything. But even with that, like, I had a surgery when I was 2.5, and in order to start my process, I had to find every single piece of paperwork for that. Every piece of paperwork, every x-ray, everything. I was in the hospital for probably, I would say, a good 2 years going back and forth getting checkups. Like, we have had to track down every single piece of information. We just had to go get paperwork from out in Corona to get my clearance so I could actually go into the military, which there are so many surgeries for those people that the military only allows so many. Like, say I had another surgery, say I had a surgery on my heart or lungs, like I had a transplant, it's very unlikely that I'd be able to go in because that's not reliable, which is understandable, which I think that is more, it's more of the having to constantly take those hormones and having those surgeries that plays a little part. It's not the fact that they're a gender, whichever gender.
Okay.
It's the fact that they are having to take those hormones and they had those surgeries. Because having surgery is a big thing. It's not like a small thing. And taking those hormones, I don't even believe that if you have to take those hormones, you are allowed in the military, because unless
Well,
it's
if
a
that's
certain
the
thing.
case, then they should just personally reject you instead of having Trump say in general that trans people aren't allowed. That would give him, 1, really bad press. 2, it would make people in the LGBTQ plus community think that Trump doesn't like them, which a lot of people right now do.
Yes, a lot of people do think that.
So maybe if Trump, well, if he didn't have a plan, if he didn't have a part in this, and let the military do their job and rejecting people who they don't think fit the requirements of being in the military, don't you think that would have gone a lot better?
I think that would be discrimination. I don't think they're allowed to do that.
They are allowed to discriminate against people that they don't see fit. Like, say that, how you said...
Well, yeah, but if they didn't pass an actual law, people would get pretty upset about it. Because, like, a bunch of trans people would waste their time applying when they would never get accepted.
Yes, I think that the law that law and rule being made was the right way to go about it, because there are going to be those trans people that are going to continue applying since that is a requirement, there needs to be a law made about that. There needs to be that requirement and rule. Like, before I was able to start my process, I had to go in and look at all the requirements and rules and everything I needed to follow in order to get in, which I did, and I made sure of all that before I went in. I talked to multiple recruiters about it. They all cleared me. They all said I was good, just got to pass all my medical stuff.
Right.
So if they don't create that rule and restriction and make it legal, then it would be counted as discrimination. It'd be like the military saying, no, we're just going to use black and whites in this matter. No black people are allowed.
You mean no brown people?
No brown people are allowed.
You said black and whites.
Going just end the spectrum.
I'm pretty sure
segregating between black and white people.
Just
between platoons.
Yes, I'm just using a basic, like, simple diagram, so it's easier. Like, I could just say to where the military said only white people are allowed in the military, but we're not going to make that a law and restriction because that would look bad on us. We're going to just do it subtly and just reject everyone that's a different skin color and race without putting it up as a restriction.
Okay.
It'd be the same in this sense. If they didn't create that rule and restriction, then they would silently be discriminating against them. They would silently be rejecting all those people because they are that way.
Okay.
So I know I have to bring in birth certificates. I have to bring in everything to show that I was born female. I have always been this way. I've had no other altering surgeries, nothing like that. So they can do all that and then reject you and say, oh, sorry, you weren't the fit, but that would be discrimination, and that would be silent, and then there would be a large fight over that either way. Which, the way Trump did it was good, because it shows where they stand, and people should know that. A lot of people that are part of the military, or know what the military stands for, know the rules of the military, it makes sense. I understand it, and I feel it's fair, though I support those people.
Funny thing, I used to go to military school down in Paris, and I had a few friends. They were in the LGBTQ plus community.
Yes.
Now, two of these friends, they wanted to be male, and biologically they're female. They hadn't gone through any of the transitioning processes, but they wanted to be called male names. They want to be treated as guys.
Yes.
And I fully support that. And they both wanted to be a part of the military. One of them, their father was in the Marines.
Yes.
They were a very hardcore military family. And so this person has been wanting to be in the military for such a long time. However, with this new law passed, they don't know what to do because, they know the rules, they know the laws, they know what to do.
Yes.
But what do you think an alternative can be, if there is an alternative?
Sorry to interrupt, but I would argue the alternative is you can be called a he and stuff, but you don't actually do the hormones. Like, you're still female. Although that would be kind of effed up because they want to be male.
Right.
But that's my point though. Is that, like, technically, like, I think, I don't know if his law bans them from even being called male or female if they want to. I think it only bans them if they have hormone treatments, that sort of thing. If they actually transition, because of the health risks associated with it, and that they won't be, in top fitness, that sort of thing.
Yes.
But anyway, back to you.
In the military, I would be called, if I got to a high enough position, I would be man. No matter if I want to be called sir, I would be man.
You'd be man,
because
yeah.
it's my gender. You can change your look and all that you want. You can't do the hormones, you can't do the surgeries. That's what is defining you. Once you do that certain thing, you can 100% be considered trans. instance. Say I was decided to be lesbian, but I wanted to be the more male of my couple. I could say I want to be called he. I could cut my hair in a certain way, dress a certain way.
As long as it's in regulation with the male hair.
Yes. I could be lesbian, I would be accepted into the military still. And I would be able to have that haircut. Say I just decided I'm going to shave my head today. I would still be allowed to be in the military. The military would still call me male because I am a female by my gender, given to me at my birth. I would be called male. And I'd have to suck that up. But people that I know could call me sir if they felt like. But the military as a whole, your superiors are going to call you by what you are. And you're going to have to deal with that if that's how you feel. But once, say I wanted to get that surgery and I wanted to be, hey, I want to make this official that I am a man, then I would officially be disqualified. That is what would then describe you as a transgender once, in my opinion, in my eyes, I'm not sure how other people in this community see it. That is what separates you from just being gay or lesbian, changing into a transgender, is when you actually make that step and start changing. Otherwise, you are just gay or lesbian saying that this is what you prefer. Like, everyone has their preferences. They have their they, them, she, her, him, he preferences.
He, him.
He, him. Yeah.
Get the
so
order right.
Sorry! They have those preferences. So, which is fair. But you aren't for sure that until you make the transition, which is what the transgender is.
And that's in the eyes of the
That's
community.
Yes, that's in the eyes of basically most people. So,
Okay, so it's in the eyes of your opinion. We're not sure if that's the opinion of the actual transgender community.
Sure, but I know that's the opinion of a lot of people I know personally, in which I know people that are wanting to make that transition, which they don't consider themselves trans yet, they consider themselves gay. Like, I know people like that's a lot of what they do, but it does differ from person to person. I know other people that would say it's something different and say that I'm wrong in that. But personally, that is how I view it, and I know some people that view it that way. I know a lot of religion just view it as wrong. They're going to call you what they see you as. If you are female born, no matter if you made that transition, you are a she. Like, I know that's how it is a lot of the time. But in my eyes, you are not 100% transgender until you start making that steps. But you can consider yourself other things. Like, I could be like, oh, I want to be they, them. And that would be accepted.
And I'd call you they, them.
Yes, and certain people would respect.
Certain people.
Certain
yes.
people, depending on what background you came from. So that is where the military comes from. They're like, okay, you can be called this, that's okay. They don't care if you're gay, they don't care if you like other people, but they do care after the certain things you're doing to your body. Because they're not like, oh, I care about your emotions and your feelings. They're like, I care about your body and your physical aspect on what you can do and what you can mentally do. That's what basically my boot camp will be doing, is breaking you down.
Right.
So they're there to build your mental and your physical abilities. They're not there to ease your emotions and things, which is why I think a lot of people that are more Republican people go into the military. More,
Because you think they're tougher.
it's not that they're tougher, it's just that it's different groups.
Okay.
So more, I have found, this is not proven statistically, I'm just going to say that, full disclosure, it's not proven, there's no statistics on it that I
Oh,
looked
right.
up.
Full disclosure. Forgot to mention, I don't side with either party. Like, I honestly, like, I know this is probably the most unpopular thing ever, but I hate both parties. I hate that there's a too big party system. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Go ahead.
But full disclosure, there is no proof that I'm basing this off of. This is basically just me viewing.
Anecdotal.
Anecdotally, yeah.
Yes, from my perspective, all that, this is what I see. So more of the Democratic people, trying to stay away from conservative and liberal because that has a negative connotation to it. So the Democratic people are more, we should consider how people feel and make sure they're okay. Like
mental illnesses.
yes,
things like
they
that.
are more like, though both parties are aware of like mental illnesses and they're like, they care, it's more more the Democratic people that are like, oh my goodness, I need to ease you into this to make sure you feel okay
Like
about
personal
this.
rights is
Yes.
a big thing.
Where the Republicans are more like, this is the right thing to do. If you don't feel okay with it, you need to get on board.
Okay.
Which both parties are like, okay, let's do the right thing in our eyes. Not discrediting the Democrats and saying they don't do the right thing because they emotionally feel it's wrong. But I've seen a lot of people that are Democratic, they lead with their heart and their emotions on how they feel about a certain situation, like instead of using what they think is right. And I feel like the military is more for the people that can't emotionally handle that stuff. You don't go into the military if you're gonna cry because somebody hurt your feelings when they told you you did something wrong.
They hit it like really far over to here. Never mind. Okay, I think we're good.
Tyler's staring at us with balls.
Nah, we're good. It looks like they just hit it right over to there. It was like really close though. I was just like, uh-oh, because it went all the way up and then the tree was blocking my view. I'm like, uh-oh.
But that's why I personally think that military is more Republican
God damn
oriented.
it. Dude.
Because
Okay, you know what? Let's switch this up.
Ignore that broken glass right there. That's some douchebag just like dumped there.
had a little bit of a party.
Oh yeah, look at this. Oh no, it's too shady over there, man. Yeah, should I end the recording now? Alright, whatever. Oh yeah, this is pretty good. This'll work.
Oh, it's good.
Really? You just won't glass at me?
Yeah, you're welcome. That wasn't glass. That was glass.
Oh yeah, this is great. I got my own little seat.
Okay.
So much better.
Okay.
We should add that to the video. Start.
Yeah, alright, let's go.
This is so much better.
Okay, back to what I was saying.
He has a seat too. Tyler has a seat.
Tyler does have a seat. But
Upgraded.
the military, I do believe, is mostly Republican oriented, as it does take a more logical standpoint in views. Instead of are you mentally okay with this? Because we all know that the military breaks you down emotionally.
Right.
They are like, okay, this is not what you need to know. You need to know the rules. You need to follow the rules no matter how it makes you feel. Unless you're one of the highest people that makes rules, then have that ability to choose.
You're allowed to have emotions if you're at the top.
Yes, basically. But it doesn't, and also, once again, not proven in any way, but I have seen at school that in my environment, a lot more of the Democratic people are less open to hearing about my views. And it might just be because I'm in the wrong state for my views. This is a Democratic state. We are not
Definitely.
Republican. There's very few people at school that are Republican and view the same things. But those people around me, I know, are a lot less open to hearing my opinion and my views. And I've had a lot of conversations with people a lot recently in which they share their views in full. They fully discredit me. They basically label me as trash in every way they possibly can. And then I say one thing that they think is wrong, and they automatically say everything I'm saying is wrong.
So you
without
feel as though you
even
don't have a voice.
Yes, I know I don't have a voice. Like, I typically keep my mouth shut about this around certain people because I know that it is that it is not socially accepted at all.
Okay. Well, now, since I am in the middle, it's like, I have access to both parties.
Yes.
You don't have a voice either.
I don't have a voice, but I have access.
Well, because no one voices your moderate stuff.
That's true.
You know what? When we have the interview, I'll tell you about it because I hate it. This
Stop.
stuff.
Like, you'd be surprised if this is even edited.
Yeah, just continue talking.
But yeah, so, okay.
But yeah, a lot of the people that are either in the middle or on the opposite side don't have a voice.
Right.
Like, I was even in class the other day and someone mentioned something about supporting a different party, and they were fully shut down immediately by someone who was Democratic because they were like, no, you're wrong in every way.
Okay.
Which was wrong. Like, just because it's someone's opinion, first off. I believe it's your
People
opinion.
are still people, no
Yes.
matter, like, even if you think that they have the wrong views.
Yes.
Like, personally, I don't think we have the same views on so many topics.
No, I
But I'll
doubt we
still
do.
listen to your topic, and I will honestly like rebuttal you. Like
Yes.
I'll actually debate with you instead of shut you down and make you feel as though you're not a human.
Yes,
you
and
know?
I will respect that.
Right.
I will hold the respect I have for you as another person and as my friend. That I hold that respect for you. I believe you have your opinion. I have my opinion.
Correct,
That's
because
just
we're all
not get in
people.
the way
Yeah.
of my relationship with anybody. Like, I recently lost a really close person to me because she believed the complete opposite of me, and she constantly talked about it and backed on what I believe. And I've known this person for 6 years.
Wow.
And I never said anything about my opinion, though I'm fairly aware of what I believe. I am very strong in what I believe.
Okay.
And I accidentally said something. I made a comment about something I believed about Trump, in which she then kind of went off on me and didn't even let me speak about what I believe. And now we don't even talk anymore. She absolutely hates me and thinks I'm racist and a piece of trash. In which, no way am I either of those things. I'm not racist. Like, literally, my cousin was adopted. She's from, what is it? She's from a different
Dang, bro,
country.
you don't even know
She's-
what.
It's complicated.
That must be racist, isn't it? Whoa.
See, that's what people will do. Like, they will say just because I don't know something. My cousin is.
Dude, I don't
My
even know
cousin
when
is-
my brother was born.
My cousin's dark. She's dark skinned. She was adopted into our family, and I love her no matter what race she is. And I believe she has just as much opportunities as me. Like, she just got into college, and she has just as much opportunities as me.
Okay.
She could go into the military if she wants to. She could get any job, and I believe in her. And I believe that she should. Like, no matter what race she is, and I love her. And people think that I'm racist because I support Trump.
Okay.
I've been told that many times.
Now, I have a few questions in the realm of race because as I am brown, I like to do my research.
Yes.
So now, would you believe
Wait, sorry. Could you state for the camera that you're brown? I don't think they know.
Hey, so, I'm pretty sure, like, I haven't gotten tested
y'all,
or anything,
I'm
but I'm
really
pretty
white.
sure I'm
think-
brown. Yeah, I think I'm brown.
I think I'm white. I'm not 100%
How
sure.
can you be so sure?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
What if you're actually just a light-skinned Latino?
I don't know. I could not be positive.
Exactly. So, God damn it.
You can get back to what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, I can't think now.
Question.
Wait, hold up. You just cussed.
Does
We're
that
gonna
count
cut
as
that
cussing?
out.
Does that count as cussing?
That's cussing, bro.
Okay.
Dang. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, as
Hypocrite.
would you believe that your cousin, she's raised by white people, right?
Yes.
Right. So
Well,
would you,
for part of her lifetime.
for part of her life, right? And she lived in certain regions where darker people are prominent. I don't want to say a certain country because I'm not sure if she's from there. I mean, continent.
I'm not 100% sure on her background. I'm not 100% sure. She's my age, so we were both very young when we met.
Okay.
So, and I never really asked about it because we've always been really comfortable about it, and she's always been very accepting. We both talk about our views. She accepts mine, I accept hers,
Right.
which we have different views, obviously. But, like, we can have an open conversation about it because we built that relationship from when we were young.
Right.
So-
No, so back to this one.
Yes.
So would you believe that you probably don't, but would you believe that since your cousin was raised by Caucasian people, she has more privileges and more rights socially than other black people would, being raised in a either black neighborhood or by black parents?
I do not, because,
Okay.
well, first off, she didn't grow up in that, like, sense that it was, like, but she's not raised by everyone who was, per se, white, Caucasian, around her. That side of my family's a military family, so they did move around a lot. They were in a lot of different countries for a whole life. So, though she was raised by my uncle and aunt who are Caucasian, well, I'm not 100% sure what my aunt is, but I know my uncle is Caucasian. Like, it would not be any different for her due to the fact where she did grow up in many different countries in which I haven't even grown up in or haven't been to. So, her privilege, I don't believe that it has been oriented by where she lived or who she grew up with. Like, if she grew up in the family she was born with, I think it would have been a little different because she lived in a different country, in a different environment. Like, yes, I get that. I acknowledge that those countries with those people of that race, it's not good. It's not a good place to grow up, and they do have less opportunities there.
So are you sure you wouldn't believe that your cousin, if she wasn't raised around in a like very moving home where she was with like 50 degrees, and then if she wasn't raised with your aunts and uncles, would you believe that if she was raised in, say, predominantly black areas, such as like parts of Compton or parts of, is it West or East?
Ah,
I think it's East LA. So if she was raised there, wouldn't you believe that? Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, okay. First off, if she was raised in those certain environments and those places, whether it was with my family or another family of her race, I do think she would have been treated differently. Like, say I grew up in that area, I would be a lot different than I am now.
Definitely, yeah.
Like, yes, I've been to those places and I lived there for a while. Like, okay, but just because someone lives in that place doesn't, it really depends on location.
Okay.
There are certain places, like, even in Riverside, we have the ghetto places, you could say. Like,
Yeah,
the
like
less,
where my swim practice is.
yes, like the less privileged places, I guess.
Right.
Like, where we are now, this housing area is fairly expensive.
Can you believe that this is a part of a park? Show it around.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Like,
true.
do you think that this is like an actual park?
Like, this is a very nice place to live.
Yeah.
Like, it's very expensive, and the people that live here have fairly decent jobs
Right.
in order to live here. Like, the lower income home areas are not the nicest. Everyone knows that.
Like, I used to live in Paris, California.
Yes.
And that right there
Oof.
is exactly.
Yeah.
And my family made a really good amount there. But when we moved here, we were almost like, we're still on the higher end, but we're still almost like average.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it less depends on who you're with than where you are.
Okay.
I think it's strictly location, because every family grows up with their views. Every family grows up with a certain set of experiences. I have my own personal experiences that were not good, that shaped me to where I am now. And people who are of different races, yes, I agree that they do struggle with racism, because I know there are people out there that are very racist. But it is more location
Okay.
than it is what your race is, in my opinion. Because I could have grown up in those areas and been treated the same way, but I could have been looked at how Tyler looked at me and said I never grew up in that area.
Okay, look.
Right.
No, we're
Not-
using Tyler.
I assumed. It was my bad. I shouldn't have.
No,
It's
it's
good.
okay. It's good. It helps me show
And it
my
sparks
point.
conversation.
Yeah, so, like, people would assume that of me, that I've never been to those places because of how I dress and what I have and where
How I dress. How I dress.
where I am now, like,
Right.
and of my race. Like, people would look at me and be like, "Oh, she's white. Like, she's never had a problem in her life."
Oh, she's white. She drinks Starbucks every day of her life. And she gets like an average B, like a B average grade.
Yeah.
Dude,
so,
alright, I'm sorry to interrupt, but do not talk bad about Starbucks, alright?
Okay, buddy.
They're like,
Okay,
their
no,
corporations are amazing, man. I really support their corporation.
Oh, really? You support corporations? I hate corporations.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Disneyland should go down.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, but it's.
And Molly's gonna attack me now. Remember
it's-
Molly? Molly's gonna attack
Oh
me.
God, Molly.
Yeah, Molly.
We love Molly.
Alright.
But it's more locational, in my opinion.
Okay.
Which is my opinion. Like, I am not black, brown. I am not of a different race. I am white, so I do not know all the experiences. I do know a lot because I have grown up with those people in my life, and they talk to me. I am someone that a lot of people talk to. So, like, I know what happens, and I know a lot of people worry that that's coming from me.
Okay.
But I think it is more locational in those areas that lower income families do live in. Like, it's classified as a black neighborhood.
Right, 1 second, my down.
Yes, sir.
Keep going, keep going.
But it, like, I have neighbors that are of different races to me. I live next to, like, a lot of different people around me, and we are a very mixed community in which we all, like, I can walk outside, I'll be washing the cars, and my neighbors will start having a conversation with me as I'm washing the car. I'll be like, "How's your day going?" Like, we'll have a conversation as I'm spraying down the car, because that's the kind of neighborhood we live in. Whereas if I go to a low-income neighborhood and I'm, like, washing my car, like, I'm probably not going to talk to my neighbors. Like, I'm probably going to be like, "Let's wash this car and get back inside." Or, "Let's wash this car and go out somewhere else." which I think people classify them as black neighborhoods, in which, yes, there might be a higher black population there,
Okay.
but I don't think it's because of their race that it's that way. I think it's because of just the environment and the amount of money they make. Like, not all families, no matter if they're white or black, are able to provide as much money and get the certain jobs. But I don't think it's because of their race. I think America has its problems, and we are corrupt. Certain people are corrupt,
Right.
and they have that corruption. But I don't think a lot of the way that people think it is as extreme.
Correct. However, when I did live back in Paris, I lived in like the outskirts, which is like a nicer area.
Yeah.
However, there were many issues there. Like, I'd say at least every week there was at the least 2 robberies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like for the housing.
Yeah.
For houses, but and then most people, they worked in warehouses. They had really like tough jobs.
Yes.
Right. And they haven't been paid the amount that a lot of people think that they should be paid. Like, to be fair, in other warehouses, they get paid a little higher than minimum wage. Like, and by a little higher, I mean by like $2 or $3 per hour.
Just a lot.
Which, yeah, it can end up being a lot. But in Paris, you get paid like bare minimum wage. Like, you get paid
$12
probably even less.
Well, minimum
Like
wage
$10 to
is
$12.
right now.
Yeah, but a lot of people, they can,
Go under the table.
they can, yeah. So in Paris, that's what it looked like for a lot of the time.
Yes.
And it wasn't great. And some people could argue that just because it was a lower income housing area, and because of that, they got paid a lot less. But it could also be argued that because they were Latinos, it was a bit different,
I see that argument. A lot because, I mean, it makes sense in that sense.
Right.
Like, you do look, there are a lot less white families in that area. And they're like, but it doesn't also, I think a lot of people just assume everyone who's white is like high income. I'm not even high income. Like, we barely make it in my house right now. My parents came here so I could get a good education.
Right.
Because, like, they didn't want me going to those schools that I would have been going to. Like, and they're barely making it by in that, so that me and my sister could go to that school. Like, which I give them full credit for. Like, they're working their butts off for this. But I do think a lot of people see it that way, and I understand that in a lot more ways than a lot of people think. But, and I'm not discrediting them. I do think it's partially race. I think there are a lot of business owners who hire people, Latino or African or Native American or anything else that, and they're like, oh, you look this way, I'm going to pay you less because I don't think you're going to do anything about it. Or I'm going to pay you less because, because you're this race and I don't respect you in any way, which is corrupt. And that's what I mean when I say there are corrupt people out there. But there are businesses that I know hold themselves to a higher standard and they're like, okay, I'm going to respect you no matter what. And it's still a hard job, but I do believe like there are places out there like that, and I know there's corrupt places. It's just really depending where you work, first off, who you work for, the people. It depends on people a lot, and if they're racist. I don't like racist people. I do not like them, and I do not respect them.
I don't really like discriminatory people in general.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I don't think many people do.
Like, I don't.
You'd be surprised because they.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of bigots, I know, but
You would be surprised. Like, there's a lot of people that will say that people are not being racist when they are.
Yeah.
Like,
oh,
dude, my driving instructor was super racist. Like,
Wait. To you?
to
What did he-
everyone, like, I'd be driving and she'd be like, oh, that person's there. Oh, well.
Oh, so
or
she
like,
was in the passenger seat and she was pointing out people.
yeah, or even to me, she was like, oh, you're this fancy pants rich girl. And I'm like, I promise you I'm not. In any way, I've never been in that environment, but okay, we're just gonna roll with it. But, like,
Right, like I got this suit, this whole thing, $50. I know how to find a good deal.
oh my God!
sue for that.
You know, let's just stop everything you're talking about. You got that for $50?
I know, right? It's so good.
Where'd you get it from?
I think there's this huge like.
Actually, wait, no. We are not making AdSense yet. Let's not talk about it. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Great. So that was our little spiel. And follow me. No, I don't know what I'm saying. I'll be back here on Sunday, like next Sunday.
Yes. And y'all, I love everyone no matter what the race is. Please don't, because I believe that Trump should be president. Please don't come at me for that. I get that a lot. Just don't come at me, please.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, so I say that I'm independent, but I also have more left views. Yeah, but like actually, I don't know if I have any right views. Do I have some right views?
Let's talk about that later then.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah, we need to get going.
I
Come
have
on.
to think. Yeah, so we'll get back to you next Sunday. Have fun.
All right. Yeah. Bye. Bye from name.
Ryan. Sorrell.
Name.
Valerie Domingous.
What's your name, Tyler?